All right, so we are on to learning target 6.2. We're going to be multiplying and dividing inequalities, okay? You guys have to remember this little note, this little rule right here. When you multiply or divide by a negative number, you need to flip the inequality sign, okay? So I'm going to do multiple examples, one of each if a negative is on the left, or if the negative is on the right, or if there's no negatives, or if both of them are negative, okay? Alright, so our first example is 2x is greater than 4. 2x is greater than 4. How do you solve for x? And x is something of 2. Did you multiply or divide by a negative? You divided by a negative? You multiplied by a negative?
No.
I don't see any negatives here, do you?
Oh, no.
So do you do anything with the inequality sign? No, just drop it down.
Wait, what? Like, what do you mean by change the sign?
Did you multiply or divide by a negative here?
No.
You divided by a positive 2. Don't change the sign. Okay? Here, let's try this one. Negative 3x is less than or equal to 9. How do you solve for x? By what?
Negative 3.
Negative 3. Okay? 9 divided by negative 3 is?
Negative 3.
Okay, did you multiply or divide by a negative? Yeah, you divided by a negative 3. So this less than or equal to sign changes to a, what's the opposite? What's the, flip it?
More than.
Yeah, greater than or equal to. You're just going to flip-flop this sign. It's less than, now it's greater than. Okay? So when you multiply or divide by a negative. Nope. It should be review. Yes, ma'am? Because did you multiply or divide by a negative? That's a positive, right? Yep. So whatever you do on the left and the right, if that is a negative number, you need to flip it. Okay? Here we go again. Negative 4x divided by negative 4x is greater than negative 16. How do you solve for x?
Divide.
Divide by negative 4 on both sides.
Okay, is what you did on both sides a negative?
Yes.
Then what happens to this sign?
Change the constant.
What?
Doesn't it stay?
It stays the same.
If this, well, guys, did you multiply or divide by a negative number?
No.
Yeah, you divided by a negative 4.
So then it flips.
It flips. Instead of a greater than, it's going to be a less than. And negative 16 divided by negative 4?
Positive.
4.
4. Okay, now what about this one? 5x is less than negative 25. How do you solve for x?
Divide by 5.
On both sides. Did you multiply or divide by a negative?
Yes. No, we didn't.
No. No. Did you multiply by that negative 25? No, you divided by that 5. It stays the same. I have told you. Okay, you guys are not listening. Did you multiply or divide by a negative?
No.
Look at, this is a positive. This is a negative, so yes, we flipped it. This is a negative, yes, we flipped it. This is a positive, no, we did not flip it. So whatever you do on both sides, does not matter what your original problem is. It's whatever you multiply or divide by, that's going to tell you what to change it. Okay? Alright, so I did one of each, both positive, one negative, both negatives, and the other answer is negative, okay? So now let's do some division ones. B divided by 3 is greater than 4. Times 3. Now, is that 3 negative? Is that 3 negative?
No.
Do you change your sign? No, keep it the same. So whatever you write down on both sides. If you did not put a negative, keep it. If you put a negative, flip it. Okay? B divided by -2 is greater than -8. How do you solve for B?
Divide by
Multiply by
-2.
-2 is that number that you put on both sides, negative or positive? Negative. So you gotta flip it. So instead of greater than, it's going to be -8 times -2 is
16.
Right, so we had both positive, we had both negative.
Like, you're putting equal sign where the thing is supposed to be. Same.
All right, how do you solve for B?
Divide. Multiply by 4.
Are we changing the sign?
No.
No, because this and this is positive. So B is less than or equal to -2 times 4 is -8.
Is there one more?
One more. Yes. B over -4 is less than or equal to 3. Right, how do you solve for B?
Times by -4. And then we change the sign.
By a negative, good. So instead of less than, it is greater than or equal to 3 times -4, -12. Okay, so I gave you 8 examples. Does that help clear up?
Yeah.
If you do it on both sides, these are positive, keep. This is negative. It does not matter if your answer is a -25, it matters what you did on both sides, okay? Understood? Now, use your homework, or use your notes for your homework assignment, okay? So if you don't know if I need to flip it or not, just look, like this first one, both negatives. So come over here, both negatives. Did I change the sign? I sure did, because I divided by a negative on both sides, okay? So I gave you all examples of multiplication, all examples for division. So if you need help, look at your notes. Did everybody take notes? Do they look exactly like mine? I hope so. All right. Any questions?
Yeah.